Coralie Clark, welcome
Thank you.
to Business Insider.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, and we've been chasing you for a while, so we...
Yeah, you have actually.
Yes, persistence is our middle name.
That's right.
So, and welcome to the boardroom of
Thank you.
Milestone Bellanova, who we share this with and sometimes run it back to them.
Okay.
Let's talk about Freedom Pools. It's been a path,
It has
cobbled
been a
on,
path.
on occasions, and bright sunshine and heavy rain sometimes as well. Till 1997, you started on this journey.
Yep.
Give us a big leap forward to
Okay.
2012. What's changed in the pool building business?
Okay. 1997, I joined Freedom Pools as an employee, and then in 2004, I became a partner. So there was 3 partners, and 2008, I became sole owner. Now, in saying that, as far as what's happened in the industry since that time, how it's evolved, what I call the heady days was probably between 1982 and pretty well 2004 were the good years, and they were very good years. And you could really just tell sales, you could pretty well predict how many sales per annum, etc., which was, from a business perspective, great. But then I purchased in 2004, and things...
Timing is everything.
Very good timing, yes. Things began to go sort of on a steady decline, let's say. And ultimately, the business, the structure of the business really couldn't support 3 partners. And also, the 2 previous owners were, let's say, they'd had their time.
Yeah, they were ready
And
to get
so,
out.
Yeah, they were right. They were right to go. And so I just projected myself to be ultimately the owner. So that's how I moved into that. Yeah.
Was there a plan in 2004 to take it over?
There
sort
was,
of time?
yes, there was
Okay.
a plan. I pretty well was ready to leave the business as such as the employee at that stage. However, they gave me that option, so I went with that. And so I did my business diploma at TAFE over 3 years while I was working there as the partner.
Don't you realise there's an age limit on that? Would you start so late?
Well, I'm a late bloomer. Yes, I'm a late bloomer. That's what they call it.
Indeed.
And
a smart woman too, because we need those skills, don't we? We can't assume that you can get by without them.
That's it, absolutely right. It opened up a whole lot of, doors for me in a way, because it's a great thing to be learning. So, and I'm pretty sort of passionate about that. So so I did that, and I decided, okay, that's my path, and decided to pursue that, buying the business, the construction of swimming pools, which is not an easy path really for a woman.
Well, no, actually, a moment before you came in, Bob described you as a concrete layer, which I think...
A concrete layer, okay.
you don't look...
Thanks, Bob.
You don't look quite burly enough for that. But you
no.
are a board member of the Swimming Pool and Spa Association. And to justify Bob's comments, not that we need to, you are a qualified or certified pool builder as well.
Yeah, I have my swimming pool builder's licence. That was one of the other things I did. It gives you, of course, the kudos to actually sort of, and you know a lot more, of course. So basically, I oversee the business really, and making sure that the structure with the product is as it should be, particularly when you have with this type of construction, you have the statutory warranty, which is 6 years, and that's an obligation. So therefore, your product has to be good quality. So that's how it works. Yeah.
If we look from 2004, when you started to get involved, were there things that surprised you, or that as your business evolves, you think, wow, I didn't expect that?
There's always a lot of things that in construction, it's sort of like you think, oh, okay, I've got that down pat now, but there's always something that comes up that is totally left field. What sort of things are you talking? You're talking
I guess from a business perspective, because now from 97 being an employee to 2012 being the boss and employing employees.
Well, I suppose the biggest hurdle was getting the right people. Now, when I was in the partnership phase, it seemed to me that we did have the right people, so to speak. However, once I was on my own, to me that was a glaring something that I really needed to sort out. So that for the first 2 years, basically, that was spent changing the structure of the actual people I had and who, how many there were, and what they actually did. So those first 2 years were spent getting rid of things, putting things in place, getting strategies in place, etc., which, you sort of thought you had that in place. However, really it was pretty ad hoc. So, yeah.
And going forward, is there more of that to be done in 2012, 2013?
Look, at this stage, I actually feel that I have things sitting ready to drive, and I really do sincerely believe that. It's just a matter of being able to do that, and there's other things that are stopping that.
From an outsider's point of view, and I'm presuming you're saying sales, it is a matter of
sales and working capital,
right.
Which, that especially in this climate now, as in this economical climate and also the climate.
That fills up swimming pools before they have concrete in them.
Yeah, which has a massive impact, and an impact that it's hard to convey to the outside world how that does impact, because we've had pretty well 12 months of rain and unprecedented rain. Things have happened on sites that I've never ever seen.
See, I'm old enough to remember the last time. You see, La Nina was here in the 60s, and you were way too young.
Well, that's
but I remember that rain, but why does it have to happen in 12 months in 2011? But and you're dead right. You are in an industry that no one understands. Retail is tough when it rains, but also shopping centres love it. But in the building industry, it just stops, and cash stops, and
cash stops, cash flow stops, and also you can't just go in. The sunny day or the sunny week, it doesn't mean that you can start building again. So there is a bit of a long haul to get back into that construction phase where things are just sort of rocking along.
What do you think will happen in the Australian economy to get us to the next level, which would be a positive growth stage rather than ambient?
Well, from the building perspective, from me being in construction of swimming pools, which are not necessary, let's say, however, they are sought after. People do like to have the pool and the lifestyle, which is what it is, what it creates. People have changed in that there's really now, when people call us, and if they do call, they tend to be the genuine buyer rather than someone who may be thinking, they don't really know what buying a pool encompasses. So as far as the dollar goes, so that's a good thing, because you don't waste your time, because there is a lot of that with, to finally get that sale, there's a lot of lead up to that, and a lot of time that you spend for no money, for no money back or whatever. So I think it seems a bit brighter, but it's a slow haul.
And I've got to say, as an unpaid endorsement, Freedom Pools are at the right end of the market. You are not at the cheap end of the market.
Look,
I think
that's true. I've actually just finished going through the sales process and working out exactly what it costs to build a pool and the margins, etc., etc. So the thing with that is that I will no longer sell a discount product, if that's what you'd call it. I'll only sell at the right price. I'd rather not have the sale than go down that track, because there's just too much involved for it.
Well, and the cap is 6 years of warranty.
That's
and
right.
if someone's
yeah.
offering a cheap
yeah.
price, there's every
Yeah.
chance that what they're discounting is the.
Look, you know.
And I'm not saying
Yeah.
I shouldn't. Say
I know what you're saying, and
Yeah.
it's quite true. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you have to convince the consumer of that too, because everyone looks at their bottom line. There's no doubt about that, but it's a matter of how you sell your product. So yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Work-life balance. You're no doubt just working 3 days a week, I'm presuming, at the
I
moment.
don't know what that means. Can you explain that, please? No, look, work-life balance. Yeah, look, when you have your own business, it's difficult, of course. You have to spend, and look, in the last, probably in the last 12 months, I've pretty well worked every day, really. Of course, and I probably wouldn't be the only one that's done that. But I'd have to say that I do tend to do things for myself, and I'll step away for periods where I might, I don't know, go and have a facial or something, do something that is my own, and I'm quite good at that. But I'm not saying it's hard to have work-life balance.
Yeah.
It's it's a bit of a cliche, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
mind you, before we went on camera, we were comparing the weather today to Berlin, and
That's
I'm
true.
presuming
Maybe I'd better not have said that then. One thing I do, and I must say it sort of works for me. It sounds a bit funny, but if I am going to go away, I like to actually remove myself completely from the country if I can. And to me, it just feels like no one can get me. Although, of course, they can, because we're all switched
Connected.
on. But it's just that's
a
sort
nice
of one
piece of
thing.
advice, actually. Yeah.
So I do tend to do that. I'd have to say, at least once a year, go away somewhere out of the country. So
Good.
There you go.
We're about to give you the opportunity to have a rant now. Yeah, and then we
Okay,
define
the
this
rant.
as we have a magic wand, Coralie,
Yeah.
that we can wave and fix anything in the business environment on the Central Coast. Personal we
Okay.
don't touch, business we can work with.
Okay.
What would you like Business Insider to change in the business environment on the Central Coast?
Okay, my rant is there's two things. Well, I mean, not just the Central Coast, but generally. First of all, it's generally banks and their obligation, what I consider is their obligation to small business, as far as the understanding of a small business and how they work. It's not how they think it is, and they just need to be a bit more open-minded and have a bit more, what's the word?
I think sensitive is a word that comes to mind.
Yeah, sensitive, and also be able to see the big picture, and I think they do have a lot to answer for in letting small businesses drive their business. That's one thing. I mean, I could rant and rant about it, to be quite honest, but I won't.
No.
The other thing is, which is an interesting one, and I've come across it more so lately, is the new technology. Now, of course, we all embrace that and we all use it and what have you. Just the one thing about it, as far as the consumer is concerned and the client that you have, it's difficult from a business perspective to know how to handle it, because consumers just tend to go with their gut reaction and throw things at you. It's a different consumer. Part of that is the new technology, and it is a bit of a veil. You can hide behind it a little bit. So rather than think about their response, or okay, something's gone a bit pear-shaped or whatever, let's discuss it. It's straight for the jugular, and so it just makes it a bit more difficult for businesses in general to handle that, and to have to. It's a whole level that you have to.
I think it's a great point. I think it's kind of in that, for me, it's in the same category as road rage. It is the immediacy of that issue that clients respond to, and as business owners, we've got to learn a new set of rules in how to manage it.
Well, you do, and I guess in the construction arena, there's always things that go on, and it's just normal. You just have to, you work that, and you expect it. However, I think there has to be a little bit of a they have to get a little bit real about how things work, and you don't have finite resources. So yeah, it's just one of my things.
Yeah, no, and we come back to construction being in a very unique, where acts of God are actually acts of God, and
that's right.
And you can't do anything about it.
No, you can't. Well, you just have to manage it.
That's right. You've got.
And of course, it's a cost, and it's a horrible situation, but you just have to work through it.
You are enjoying and attending the Innovations Champions.
I am. With,
tell us a little about that.
Well, it's a group of 3 groups of 10 people not necessarily in business, they're employees as well, of which there's quite a few actually. And we all meet once every 3 weeks, only in the groups of 10. And Frank Samet and Dr. Anton Kritz, they deliver the course. And it's great. It's all about going through each class we go to delves into another aspect of your business, and it's all discussion and material you get to. Ultimately, we'll all form alliances with each other. We will have something that we can put to our business that will be perhaps an innovation in the future.
Innovation is just a bit airy-fairy, or is it
Well,
real?
look, innovation, I used to think that too, and I used to think that innovation had to be the original idea. But of course, probably only, as Frank and Anton have said, probably only between 5 and 10% have the original idea. But innovation is really something you can grab that might have been put forward by someone else or developed by someone else, and you can utilise it in your business to drive something different. It's all about the point of difference, and it had, a marked point of difference for your business. So yeah, for me, I'm just excited about it because there's quite a few things I can gain from it, and I hopefully can have something quite innovative.
And every business in your group of 10 is different, I would think, but they share issues.
Pretty well. Oh yeah, they all share issues. Probably all the businesses, probably being the employee is a different thing again, because they're under certain structures, but that's not to say they can't have the opportunity to develop and push something that is innovative.
Well, theoretically, as I understand it, they're there because they are the innovations champions within their group.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right.
They have the year of the owner or the managing director of.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly true.
Yeah.
So no, it's a great thing.
Coralie Clark, you've survived.
Thank you.